Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Chalk Talk here in the DK Pittsburgh Sports Steelers YouTube channel. Chris Halicke here. We are going to look at Aaron Rodgers because, well, Aaron Rodgers officially agreed to terms with the Steelers on a one-year contract. There's no more speculation. He's definitely going to be the starting quarterback of the Steelers in 2025. We've already done one Chalk Talk on Aaron Rodgers on this channel in anticipation that he would be the Steelers quarterback. I will drop the link below. That was mainly looking at, does the guy still have an arm? And the conclusion, if you don't want to go watch the video, but please go watch it, was that yes, the arm is still alive. Here, I wanted to look, and I'm going to do a number of Chalk Talks on Aaron Rodgers here. We're going to look at the good, the bad, but I'm not going to sit here and try to pick at everything he still does well or everything he does bad. We'll look at some of those things for sure, but I want to start this off by looking at it from a perspective, how does he fit? And so before we actually dive into the film, I do want to kind of give a background here. Aaron Rodgers played for 4 years under Matt LaFleur with the Packers. So you can see right here, the first play I'm going to have dialed up is from Green Bay, from his days in Green Bay. You're probably thinking, why are you going back to whenever he was Aaron bleeping Rodgers? Well, this is actually from the 2022 season, his last year in Green Bay. On an Aaron Rodgers scale, this was not the type of season that he had. He had just come off back-to-back MVPs, was ridiculous, and then this season was not so great. So don't think that I'm just cherry-picking plays here. But why is it important that he played under Matt LaFleur for 4 years? Well, Arthur Smith, the current offensive coordinator of the Steelers, was an assistant coach for the Titans for several years. Matt LaFleur comes in and becomes the offensive coordinator of the Titans in 2018. LaFleur came straight from the Shanahan School of Offense, and we're talking quarterbacks coach under Kyle Shanahan with the Texans, quarterbacks coach under Kyle Shanahan as OC, and Mike Shanahan as head coach in Washington for 4 years. Follows Kyle Shanahan to Atlanta to work under Shanahan there. Then goes and takes a job as OC with the Rams under Sean McVay, who McVay was also on that same Washington staff. So all of that time spent in the Shanahan School of Offense, LaFleur took that to Tennessee. Arthur Smith soaks all that up, learns a lot from LaFleur. And in the 1 year that LaFleur was there, Smith kind of became a little bit of a protege there. LaFleur immediately gets offered, after 1 year, the job to be the head coach for the Packers and wants to bring Arthur Smith with him to be his OC in Green Bay. Arthur Smith instead takes the promotion offer from Mike Vrabel, becomes the offensive coordinator of the Titans, and we know how it goes from there. 2 very, very productive years as OC in Tennessee, leads to becoming head coach in Atlanta, which didn't go all that great, and now he's OC of the Steelers. But when you look at the way Arthur Smith coaches offense, and we've looked at this before, both on this channel in Chalk Talks and in my written stuff on DKPittsburghSports.com, which I urge you to go read. I'm going to drop another link in the description here of a real look at why we didn't see Arthur Smith's true offense last season in 2024. There is a specific way he wants to play offense, and it's a lot like the way Matt LaFleur plays offense, because that's who he learned from, like the most from. So a lot of Shanahan stuff in here. And so we're going to look at play action. Why is play action important? Well, because obviously Arthur Smith wants to run the football. And if you can successfully run the football, that means you can utilize play action off of that and attack defenses in a number of ways. With Russell Wilson at quarterback, their play action game had to be limited. Couldn't attack middle of the field as often as you want to, because Russell Wilson, that's just not his game. You can't fit a square peg into a round hole. You just can't. So there was a lot of bootlegs to the outside off play action where you're doing 3-level reads on sails and all this kind of stuff. That's kind of not the Shanahan's school of attacking out of play action. It's a lot of attack in the middle of the field, and I've already kind of done that in this channel. Again, I'm going to have that link in the description where you look at a number of concepts: burner, rider, blazer, rage, a lot of these. And again, go back and watch that video. But there's a number of concepts that come out of that. And here we're actually going to look at another one called drift. And so now we're going to get into the actual film here. And this is Rodgers executing drift. I actually have the first two plays here. This is drift against both man coverage and zone coverage. And you can see how it works against both coverages. So the crux of the play is right here with the X receiver. He is running this kind of what would normally be an outside stem, and then he just comes and does an in-breaking route. That is paired with the Z on the other side running an in-break, an inside stem vertical route. That is supposed to be a clear and an alert, in case you're catching middle field open, or if you're catching the defense in zero and you can possibly throw that deep, then there you go. It depends on what the coverage dictates. This can be an alert for sure. That's supposed to be an A, by the way. Let's just write it really big. That is an alert right there. So then this concept is also paired with what's called a sift, from whether it's a fullback or a tight end. This guy right here, he is doing a sift, which is where he comes over and he blocks. And then if needed, he can then be an outlet out here after he's blocked, in case this is taken away and this is taken away. So you will hear this called F-sift X drift a lot if you pay attention to the Shanahan school of offense. And literally, like, I've got it pulled up on my computer right here. You literally have, like, I have two plays in front of me: strong right, book, Y, center, P18, F-sift X drift. Like, that is the play name. Now, every LaFleur's version of drift is not going to be the same as the way Shanahan does it. Every OC does their own variation of it. But here the Packers are running, again, the Z is running this inside stem vertical. The X is running this drift route to the inside. He's going to come over and do that little sift to the block, and the Packers are selling a wide zone, outside zone run in this direction. And so you can see right here, Rodgers takes the snap. The entire line starts moving in this direction. That selling run. So you can look and you see all those linebackers right there go to step up. They have to then honor the run. Again, this is all about if this entire offensive line all like sets back in pass protection, you're not selling run. So they all move in this direction. They're selling the run. All the linebackers step up. And what selling the run does is that it opens up this entire space right here for this drift route that the X is running. Now, when you're facing man coverage, it literally is just beat the guy across from you. And so the receiver then, again, this is normally more of it starts off as an outside stem and then breaks to the inside. But when you're playing man, you have to make sure you get inside of this guy because you're breaking inside, so you need to get inside leverage. And so the receiver finds a way to do that. Uses that step to the outside, gets the corner to kind of barely shift over a bit. He does, then he cuts it inside. Now he has inside leverage. Now he can just break it to the inside. Rodgers can get rid of it. And again, look at how quickly Rodgers can get rid of the ball. I mean, that's Rodgers' calling card. He even did that with the Jets. Like, this is not something Rodgers forgot to do. He still gets rid of the ball insanely quick in terms of just the release. He gets rid of the ball quick. I mean, the ball's already starting to come out. Like, his throwing motion's already started about there, because you can see the ball start to go back, and he's not even out of his break yet. So anticipation's there. He throws it. It's open. Easy completion. Again, the run is what opens up all the space. You get all these guys moving in this direction. It opens up the space behind. You're facing man coverage. So this guy's got him, and this safety has to honor this guy possibly running deep. And another one of the reasons why, and again, that it depends on if you're facing man or zone. You'll see it against zone. But the reason why this is an outside stem too is that this safety has, typically when you see a lot of outside stems, you're thinking you have to at least possibly honor the chance that it's going to be a go route down the sideline. And so this safety then has to still kind of keep an eye on both of these guys, because the Z over here is clearly just running straight up to attack that. So the safety has to honor that, and at this rate, this still looks like a vertical, and then he cuts that inside. The safety cannot possibly get there in time. Selling the run opens up this space by getting the linebackers to all play up. It's a really great design. Arthur Smith couldn't run this last year. Literally could not run it because he didn't have a quarterback who was willing to run it. I went through a lot of Steelers film, specifically out of play action. Whenever I was putting together that Chalk Talk video that I've been talking about, in which I, explained burner and rage and rider and all these concepts, I tried to find drift. Like, it might have been there, but I don't remember seeing it. So they didn't run it very often. If they ran it at all. They did not run it very often. All right. So next play, you can see what it looks like against zone. The Buccaneers, you're definitely seeing 3 deep here, so they are looking to be in some sort of, in a variation of cover 3, because whenever you get to here, you only see 3 guys deep, so this is definitely some sort of zone blitz. But you still have the same, it's the same formation too. You've got this condensed look. You've got 2 in the backfield with the tight end. He's going to come over and sift there. Again, these linebackers have to honor the potential for the run, so you at least get them to freeze. And when you are facing zone coverage, and this is why, this starts off as an outside stem before he cuts it inside. When he starts this off as an outside stem, when the X receiver starts and he's kind of bending that to the outside, this corner has to possibly respect the idea that this is going to be a go route. He's playing far off. He is responsible for this deep third right here. Again, cover 3, let's go to the deep portion of the field, split it in thirds. He's got this deep third. This safety stays in this deep third, and he's got this deep third. He has to honor the idea that this could possibly be just a go route down the sideline. So he has to honor that. That outside stem almost sells that to him. Then he can just cut that, bend that around inside. Of course, there's all that time and space, and there's even more time and space when you're facing a zone blitz. And that's why this sift is also a great little wrinkle in this entire design, because in case there ever is a free runner off the edge there, you have that guy to take that away. And Rodgers has plenty of time. He finds it. It's easy. Easy completion. So this is a great play action concept that Arthur Smith, it's in his playbook, he wants to use. Could not really use it last year. And now you have a guy in Aaron Rodgers that has experience in running this stuff not that long ago, after we've seen Rodgers at the height of his powers. Remember, this is 2022 Rodgers. This is not Aaron bleeping Rodgers from back-to-back MVP seasons, just, the year and 2 years prior. This is Aaron Rodgers, and I'm just going to pull it straight up while we're recording this. Aaron Rodgers in 2022, I'll just go ahead and pull the stats up right now. It was not as great. He had gone from a 121.5 passer rating in 2020 and a 111.9 passer rating in 2021 to a 91.1 in 2022. Not bad, but definitely a dip. His QBR, ESPN QBR, for those who take that stat who actually take that stat seriously, I'm skeptical, but either way, you still see a massive drop-off. His QBR in 2020 was 79.8. In 2021, it was 74.1. Both of those led the NFL. In 2022, it dipped all the way to a 41.3. Worse than his 2024 season with the Jets, which was a 48. So this was a massive drop-off. I mean, 26 touchdowns to 12 picks. One of the highest, if not, one of the highest interception rates of his career at 2.2%. His career is 1.4%. Throwing a lot of stuff at you, but letting you know that this is coming from a season in which Rodgers was not at the height of his powers. He can't, this is executing stuff that Arthur Smith wants to do. And it's important to know because if the Steelers have their way, if they can establish the run with an offensive line that's continuing to develop, with Jaylen Warren, who's going to get his chance and can run in a wide zone system, with Caleb Johnson, who has a lot of familiarity in running in a wide zone system. If all that stuff can work, it frees up Rodgers to do a lot more where they're not having to ask him to throw the ball 40 to 50 times a game. All right. Let's go to last season against the Jets, or with the Jets, against the Bills, a really good defense. The Jets here are running burner. And for those who do remember from the previous Chalk Talk that I've been talking about over and over again, burner is a high cross here paired with a corner route that starts off with an inside stem. This is an alert. This is your real primary read. It depends on what coverage you're facing if you're ever going to throw this corner route, but this corner route opens up space for this high cross. So that's what you get. For those who do remember that, that's what this is. This looks like two-man. Yeah, you got two deep here that they're, again, deep portion of the field, they're split in half. This safety takes this half. This safety takes that half. And then underneath, the linebackers look like they're in some sort of zone, while the corners are definitely in man. This guy's running with him. This guy's running with him. So the corners are definitely in man coverage. And that's great for a high crosser because he's already got inside leverage, and then he can just outrun him, which is exactly what he does. He outruns them. Rodgers, sells the play action fake. You get the sift going to this side in case there's an extra rusher. If not, he can be an outlet. That is a portion. Let me pull up the burner play here. Yeah. So the F here, it literally is. It actually does say, check flat. So check this, see if there's if you have to protect, then you have to protect. If not, be in the flat, you're the outlet. Actually, no, you're the number 3 in the progression, actually. So pulling this up, this is actually the number 1. This is the number 2. And then this right here is the number 3. So 1, 2, 3. However, the vast majority of the time, this ends up being the primary, the target in the end, because defenses don't want to get beat deep. So this corner route usually is covered up. Rarely do we actually see teams throw that. It's got to be against the right coverage. So high cross, it's open. Rodgers layers it. Well done. He can execute it, man. Like, this is stuff that Rodgers knows how to do. He's done it before. Nathaniel Hackett was the OC with the Jets, and he comes from that same Shanahan tree, but for some reason he has not had the same success as a lot of the other coordinators, coaches that you've seen come from that tree, such as LaFleur. But the concepts are not foreign to him. This is stuff Arthur Smith wants to do. It's a better fit for what Arthur Smith wants to do on offense. You're not getting Rodgers at the height of his powers. You don't need him to be Aaron Rodgers from even 5 years ago when he was putting up a 121.5 passer rating and winning league MVP at age, how old was he that year? He was 37 years old, 38 by the end of the season. You don't need him to be that guy. You don't need him to be the guy who's gonna be putting up ridiculous stat lines like 48 touchdown picks. Good Lord, no wonder, with a 70.7 completion percentage. No wonder why he won MVP. You don't need him to be that guy. You need him to be a guy who can run the passing concepts that Arthur Smith wants to run that helps complement a running game that is hopefully successful. I've gone back, and I'm going to get more into this. I've gone back and watched already too much of Jets film from last year, especially early in the year. They could not run the football. They just could not do it. You think the Steelers were bad at it last year? No way, man. The Jets sucked at running the football. They were terrible at running the ball. If the Steelers can even be an above average to good running team, we're not talking top 5 or even like sheer, like no doubt top 10. We're talking top 12 to top half of the league in running the football. Aaron Rodgers is already going to be in a better situation than he was with the Jets. So you don't need Aaron Rodgers to be the MVP from years past. You need him to be a guy who can hit these these play action concepts on a consistent basis. And this is stuff he's run before. So anyway, this has been long enough. Wanted to also help explain, obviously, broke down some film, but wanted to help explain some things too. So hope it does that for you. This is not the end of the world if Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback of the Steelers, which he will be now. We know that. This is a better fit. From everything that I can see, this is a better fit than it was with Russell Wilson last year. So we'll see how it plays out, though. We're sitting here, it's June. Who knows? So anyway, you guys have a great weekend. Catch you on the flippity flip. We'll see you later.